right, so we take you through all the headlines from the world of sport. Welcome to 94.9 32 FM Scoreboard Reloaded, where we like to come to put all those stories back again online and check those biggest headlines from the world of sport. This weekend is upon us. There will be games this weekend in the English Premier League starting tonight, and of course the other leagues also will give us a couple of games before the big one come up on Sunday and of course on Saturday. Okay, so that we'll share on the show with you this afternoon, and of course bring you the voice of the two gladiators that will be on the touchline on Sunday from 5:30. You know what I'm talking about? It's Anfield. It's Liverpool first against Manchester City second. And for Liverpool, don't forget, they've blown everyone away so far this season. Will they go ahead and blow Pep Guardiola and Manchester City away on Sunday? It was Spurs last weekend. Will it be Liverpool this time around? You'll get to hear from Pep on the show today. We'll also take a look at the FIFA nominees for the Best Player of the Year nominees, and of course individual in terms of positioning, midfielders, goalkeepers, strikers, and of course the best goal, men and women. And I'm happy that on the show today we'll talk about the Nigerian interest in that. Paulo Nuachi, Azisato Shola, and Guleb Chusekong, their name also came up. And of course Ademola Lookman, who am I to forget about him? And then we'll take a look at some of the biggest games that will be going down this weekend in England, in Nigeria, in Spain, in Italy, in Germany. Of course, in Germany, there's a big one coming up this weekend. It's Dortmund against Bayern, the classic, as they call it. I've got SAMIES here with me in the studio together. We'll see how far we can go for the next 25 minutes. Let's see if we can fly as far as we can. SAMIES, good to have you join me on the show. I know the biggest game this weekend will be in England, but hey, there's Dortmund against Bayern. That's also big. There's Enyimba against Rangers. That's also big, the Oriental Derby. So don't tell me that it's this Liverpool and City that is the biggest. These games are also big. All right, it all depends on how you see some of these things. Let's start the show, of course, and head straight to the press conference held earlier today. 𝐿 speaking. Like I said, his team is flying high. You can't beat Real Madrid, and you're doing well in the Champions League, 15-5. In the league, you're top of the table, ahead of the likes of City, Arsenal, Chelsea. Come on, you should be talking to the press anytime you're called upon. Now, take a listen to 𝐿 speaking about Manchester City and Pep Guardiola. I love his comment. Just being a bit cautious about it. Let me allow you to take a listen to 𝐿, and then we'll be back for more.
Away. The word easy never comes up to my mind if I think about City. And
easier.
Oh, okay. Still, the easy inside easier. So no, not at all. And I know everybody's looking at their results, and I've seen them as well. But if you face them, and that's what we do, you analyze it. And then I've seen, so for example, against Brighton, they were 1-0 up, could have scored 2 or 3-0, didn't, and then got beaten 2-1 against Tottenham. They could have been after 20 minutes 2 or 3 goals up. Weren't, and against Feyenoord that has not happened many times. They were 3-0 up, completely dominated the game, and then all of a sudden in the end it was 3-3. So they are still a very, very, very good team, and one of the reasons why I think Pep Guardiola is the best manager in the world, or one of the best managers in the world, I think the best though, is that he always comes up with solutions for his problems. So, and his problem now might be that Rodri is out, but we all know, at least I think, that he will come up with a problem that the run of form will go again. Hopefully after Sunday.
Thank you.
All right, Sam, it's good to have you, Jeremy. It's good you're also listening. You're also smiling with that. Hopefully after Sunday, he doesn't care. At that point in time, if they get to win, it will be 8 points. And he says he's missing players. He mentioned Rodri. And of course, that has to be because the Ballon d'Or winner will come to mind. Sam, it's good to have you join me on the show. Before we go straight to the theater and get to listen to Pep, let me allow you to take a weigh into what he said. I know you were laughing. And I've said something off this mic. I'll say it now that the mic is on. I have a feeling that City will beat Liverpool. Now, Sammy, I know you're going to laugh.
You've had that.
I know you're going to laugh.
At the beginning of the week. But listening to 𝐿 say that hopefully after Sunday, Manchester City can get back to their winning ways. And he also highlighted one of the problems for Guardiola this season Rodri being out, which definitely is evident to everyone who loves the beautiful game of football. But this weekend promises to be exciting. And the last time Manchester City defeated Liverpool at home was in the year 2021. That season, that 2020-2021 season. COVID year, 4-1. But then when you take a look
Liverpool won the league that year.
Liverpool,
so
yes.
it was inconsequential.
So can we say if Manchester City defeats Liverpool at home this season, the same would repeat itself? Liverpool run away with the league title. But a lot of people will say it's still the early days, 13-game week, and it's too early to decide who will win the title. But for Liverpool, kudos to what INT'L is doing with this team and how they've gotten the result, in which has had everyone that's talk about Liverpool Football Club, top of the UEFA Champions League, top of the English Premier League standing, and as well still in every other domestic competition. INT'L, Mohamed Salah, whose future also hangs that's in the balance of Liverpool, Virgil van Dijk, Trent Alexander-Arnold, all of these players. Let's see what will be the end of Liverpool this season and how these guys are also, if they are going to commit to Liverpool Football Club or not. But it promises to be an exciting game on Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm anticipating that.
All right. Exciting game. Let's hope it brings so much excitement on, maybe off the pitch. Let me allow you to take a listen to Pep Guardiola. For him, he says it's not the end of the world. He has done so much in terms of his philosophical statement when it comes to talk. He said he's going nowhere. He's not going to run away from the job. He's going to stay here. And one of the things he said in this press conference that, for 14, 15 minutes, he said, nobody have dominated sports in 10 years. Not in golf, not in football, not in tennis. And when he said one in tennis, my mind, Nadal didn't do 10. Novak didn't do 10. Roger didn't do 10. How about in golf? Tiger didn't rule for 10 years. And maybe to some extent, Pep might just be right. Take a listen to Pep Guardiola, and then we'll come back and talk more headlines from the world of sport.
You, Pep, because of this series of results, when in your mind does it become more than a blip? It becomes a crisis.
Up to you. When you are into text and write. So we are second in the table. We are not in good moments in terms of results. In general, I have the feeling that we play more than decent, but not enough to win games. I said many times that maybe that we have to live as a club, as a team, me, myself, my players, live these kind of situations to give what we have done in the past, and we will be back. I know that. I don't know when. That is the truth. But you can judge the situation that we are. Of course, when a team have controlled the Premier League for many, many years, so it's normal that the situation happening, what's going on. Yeah, but it's football, it's happened. So accept it that the complete normality, that maybe the exception was in the past, not what happened now. And how we stand up again, this is the big success in life, is how many times you stand up again and again and again. Whatever happened, that are the greatest. And we have done in the past, and hopefully we can start to do it.
On the other side of that, Pep, if you can win at Anfield, how much could that kickstart your whole season?
That is the big mistake that you analysis. One result not change absolutely anything. Your mood will be better. But 3 days against Nottingham Forest has to prove it. If you are not stable, that is not going to happen. You are stable when you are 12, 10, 11, 12 games in a row winning. After is a team that we have done in many years. But now it's just for one game. It's not going to change the feeling how we are as a team. So what we'll ask, not the results, is the players back. That is what I would like. I just ask the players back to have the team like we created in the beginning of the season, to try to go in everywhere to do who we are. And from the beginning of the season, we could not prove that. And now, I would say, is the situation that we had. And when people ask me, what do you want, win games? Yeah. But if we don't have the players, sooner or later we're going to fall down again, and that is what I'm looking for.
Fraser?
All right. So, looking for results, searching for results somewhere, SAMIES.
Well, for Pep Guardiola, it's just quite maybe unfortunate for Manchester City at this time, because I take a look at all the 20 games they've played. They have struggled this season except from the lower that's a ranked side. They've faced in the UEFA Champions League the likes of Slovan Bratislava. They faced in the Champions League, and then you can talk about Sparta Praha. Those are the ones in which they've gotten convincing victory in all of their games this season. But going into this weekend now, I look at Gadola and his body language. Everything about him seems to have changed. Right after the game against the Feyenoord, in the press conference, there was a cut on his face, and then I looked at his forehead. There were lots of hand marks on his head. Pep Guardiola, well, I don't know how I'll put it now, searching for that tactics result by all means. That's for Pep Guardiola at this point. But then he made mention of something that the team, they are going to be back, and I believe that it is something Manchester City are capable of doing. If no other team can do it in England, Manchester City seems to be the only one that can achieve such a run when they win 12, 11, 13, 14 games on a bounce, and that would actually propel them to win the title. And like I said also, winning at the Anfield doesn't change anything. If they win at the Anfield, they will still be 5 points behind that's a Liverpool Football Club. So it's also down to how they can count on their upcoming games to see that they get a maximum victory and hope Liverpool Football Club crumble in their next 2 games. And for Liverpool, after Manchester City, well, let's not forget they were playing against the Newcastle and Everton Football Club. So those 2 games definitely would be a tough game for Liverpool Football Club, where Manchester City, they'll just be sitting in the balance to get their own victories and get their job done. Well, for one thing everybody has been talking about also, maybe Guardiola has been talking about, and a lot of people don't want to give him the slack. Well, the missing players, I know I sit at the other side of the studio most times, and then I talk about it not being an excuse. But then you look at it, truly it should be an excuse where you lose somewhat of your best outlets. Kevin De Bruyne is not really that's a stay in the team this season. Rodri has been out. He has not even played up. He didn't play up to 3 games for Manchester City this season because he won the European Championship, and he was given a long extended break to celebrate with the rest of his family and also his teammates with the La Rojas of Spain. But then we look at that defense line. Kyle Walker, family issues in and out of the side as well. Nathan Ake has gotten injured at one point of the season. Ruben Diaz, who also maybe is a deputy captain in the side, is also out of the team. Then we look at that midfield. Rodri, yes, Kovacic is not inside. And then Savio, they brought from Girona, he has been in and out of the side also, and maybe not giving a performance of what we saw with him in the Spanish capital. That was last season. And Ellen brought Haaland. Well, this man keeps getting his goals, but those are not enough for that Manchester City to get victories. And in the games in which they've scored this season, it's either they are scoring first and then teams bite them back and they actually surrender their lead. Because you take a look at their last 6 games now for Manchester, well, not their last 6 games, before the run of 6 games without a victory, those games Manchester City won. And I tell you how they struggled. Now, start from Manchester against Southampton. They won by a goal to nil in that encounter. It was a struggle. I'm not counting UEFA Champions League encounter now. Right. For Wolverhampton Wanderers, it took the grace of a video assistant referee and also John Stones. They got victory at the Molineux Stadium. At the Etihad, they defeated Fulham by 3-2 despite scoring first. They surrendered their lead in that encounter. And then go to Newcastle, 1-1. We go to Arsenal also, 2-2, if not for a John Stones as well. Against Brentford, it was a 2-1. Against West Ham, it was a 3-1. Against Ipswich, it was a 4-1. That was their 3rd game of the Premier League season. And then their first match, they defeated Manchester City. Maybe the writing has been on the wall when Manchester United wanted to defeat them back-to-back. That was in the Community Shield game that went down. That was at the Wembley Stadium. But Manchester City eventually won on penalty shootout. But then I hope Manchester City and Pep Guardiola can also come back to get back on winning ways. And of course, maybe give a reason why the English Premier League is probably to many, if not many though, the best league in the world, where we see that level of competition. Because Arsenal, Manchester United, Chelsea, they are off the pace from Liverpool Football Club.
So this weekend, attention will be on 2 managers for me. I don't know about for you, to see how result will go. Liverpool against Manchester City, Anfield. And of course for Carlo Ancelotti, whose side have not been the best playing away from La Liga. The Champions League have not been the best for them. They lost 3 games. Inter, AC Milan, Lille, Metropole, and the Liverpool. and they've won 6 points. And this weekend they'll be playing against 𝐒𝐈𝐒. So I'll see how far these two managers can go and see maybe they can survive. Pep Guardiola against Liverpool. Maybe Carlo have got a lesser opponent in 𝐒𝐈𝐒. It's a Madrid derby. And of course, the news coming from that game is that Rodrigo is back for the side. Don't forget, Vinicius will be out until the month of December. Let's quickly switch our attention SAMIES, and talk about the FIFA Player of the Year. The names are out as we speak. I'll start with the Player of the Year now, because I know that different positioning that FIFA came up with. And Jude Bellingham, Dani Carvajal, Erling Braut Haaland, Toni Kroos is retired now, Kylian Mbappe, Lionel Messi, Rodri, Federico Valverde, Vinicius Junior, Florian Wirtz, and Lamine Yamal. And the fans have been told to go vote. Don't allow journalists to vote so that it will not become katakata again. Goalkeepers, I can see goalkeepers here, also managers here, 7 goalkeepers, 5 managers. The names of the defenders are quite much. Mats Hummels, who has joined Roma from Borussia Dortmund. There's Hakim Ziyech, there's William Troost-Ekong. And it's global, not just people playing in European football. And for midfielders, also many names right here. Martin Odegaard, Fabian Ruiz, now still playing for Paris Saint-Germain. Cole Palmer, Pulisic. I know we can go on with the names. Hakan Çalhanoğlu. For strikers, I can see the name of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So it tells you that it's global, not the usual. Them keeping it in some kind of circles. That there's Ademola Lookman here. Also, there's Rodrigo. I can see Rahimi, the Moroccan, plays his football in the Qatari club side. Al Ali is also here. There's Jamal Musiala. There's Solomon Rondon, the former Newcastle man, and is playing football away from Europe now. So it's just about making it big, and we'll wait to see how this will pan out. But like I said the other time, SAMIES has got to do with our own interest. There's William Troost-Ekong for the defenders of the year. You tell me what you make of that. There's Paulo Nuachu. He's also nominated for one of the best Puskars. Yeah. And of course, Asat Oshola. So quickly, let me allow you weigh in before we get to talk about the games to catch up with this weekend in the world of football. SAMIES.
I think that's actually shows that the year 2023, tail end of 2023 and 2024, has been a good one for Nigerian football. Well, Nigerian football, even though that has not replicated itself, that's on international level. Individual performance with their club sides, it has been a great one. Noah Asat Oshola left Barcelona to join up with BFC. That was earlier this year, but she actually won the UEFA Champions League because of her performance during the group stage of the UEFA Champions League with FC Barcelona, where she scored that goal, which earned her a nomination for the goal of the year. Remember that goal also won the goal of the season. That's UEFA Champions League goal of the season, and they just that was the last season's UEFA Champions League, and it seems great, or it's greater to have all of them. That's on the short list for Paulo Nuachu as well. Scored that goal while in Genk before he definitely came back to Southampton Football Club. Well, remember that he also left Southampton. He left Genk to join Southampton, and then he was loaned back after he struggled for game time. So for the goals of the year, and that actually is a great one for those two. And then we talk about players. Ademola Lookman has been exceptional since late last year, or last year until this present moment. But we'll talk about him later, but I want to talk about one man, William Troost-Ekong. Now, I think we can all question it now. Why Troost-Ekong didn't make the final shortlist of African Player of the Year nominee? This man, like I said, he won the Greek championship last season.
That's true.
He got to the finals of the African Cup of Nations. He was the highest goal-scoring defender at the African Cup of Nations. He was the most valuable player at the African Cup of Nations. Yet, he didn't get to the pinnacle of African, that's a nomination, that's African Player of the Year. Now, that has transcended into the European scene, where they've looked at what William Troost-Ekong had done with club football, even national team. William Troost-Ekong, first Nigerian to be nominated, that's in the defense line of that FIFA 11. And I think that's a great one for him. You know, they say that you age like fine wine. William Troost-Ekong is aging so well. And we can tell that it's actually been a great one for William Troost-Ekong. And, well, we know it's going to be tough for him to make the final four. but it's actually a good one and also an honor to have William Troost-Ekong on that shortlist. And to the man of the moment, Ademola Lookman. Well, I'm short of words for Ademola Lookman. He has been exceptional, both for Atlanta Football Club, for Nigeria, and also for fans of the beautiful game of football. We can't take away what Ademola Lookman is adding to whatever that he lays his hands upon.
All right, so I will wait to see. Fans have been told you go vote and see maybe your man will win, but for the fact that you have Ademola Lookman and William Troost-Ekong, Paulo Nuachu, and Asato Shola in the mix, I think it's a big thing for us. But for Ademola Lookman, we're waiting, and of course, we're hoping that he will be named the African Player for the Year. Victor Osimhen, hopefully, he will be the one to hand over that to him in a few weeks from now. Let's quickly jump to what to expect this weekend in the world of European football, and of course, back home, the MPFL. And like I said the other time, the big one will be in Aba. Enyimba, they are back to town, and their focus will be on the game against Rangers International of Enugu, talking about the MPFL this weekend. We'll talk about that quickly, and of course, to take a look at some of the games to catch up with on this weekend in the English Premier League. There's West Ham against Arsenal, 6:30 on Saturday. Yes, you say it's not big. All right, maybe you just get to watch and then you know how big that will be for Julian Lopetegui and, of course, Mikel Arteta. Then Chelsea on Sunday will play against Aston Villa. Now, SAMIES was saying a couple of days ago that Villa have not won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. On Wednesday, they couldn't get a win against Juventus at Villa Park. This will be the 8th time. And we to see maybe Maresca will say, no, man, you can't get the result here. We want to get that win against Villa, so we'll wait to see what happens. The other game, like I said the other time, the big one in England will be City away from home against Liverpool. In Germany, Dortmund will come up against Bayern Munich. And in Italy, Fiorentina and Florence will play against Inter Milan. You ask why Fiorentina and Inter Milan. If you go check where the club of Florence are as we speak, they are pushing. And we'll wait to see what Inter can do. Yes, maybe they will do. So, Simon, let me allow you to speak a few of these games you want to dwell on, you want to touch on. West Ham, Arsenal, Chelsea, Villa, Liverpool, City. Maybe that we can just cry because we've talked about that earlier on the show. Dortmund against Bayern. Big text this time around. For both managers who are young, the Vincent Kompany in charge of Bayern, Nuri Sahin in charge of Dortmund. These are... I don't want to call them Gen Z managers because these ones are over Gen Z in terms of their age. But if I put it in context of managers and where they are,
babies.
They are babies, but these are not babies that will be playing this game on Saturday. This heavyweight game, Signal Iduna Park, the classical, SAMIES.
Well, there are games I would love to touch on, which definitely includes Yimba, how they would come back from that continental defeat to Al Masry of Egypt when they face off against the Fidelis Olechukwu's Rangers International. Well, I hope that Yemi Olariwaju would get his boys back to the Township Stadium to get a victory against Rangers International. Where you take a look at the standings as well, both sides, they are not really, maybe performing well as expected. But for Rangers, they are third on the log, haven't played 14 games with 23 points. And Enyimba, 2 games at hand. They have 20 points in the Nigeria Premier Football League. So on Sunday, we expect that it's going to be a great game by 4 p.m. And then to Germany, the Klassiker, Bayern Munich against that's Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah.
Yes, Nuri Sahin against Vincent Kompany. Well, for Vincent Kompany, I would say was quite lucky to get a victory against Paris Saint-Germain midweek. That's a 1-0. It was the victory for Bayern Munich. That is in UEFA Champions League. And for Borussia Dortmund, they won by 3-0. So it's about who is going to want it more. For Bayern Munich, they've not dropped a point yet in the German Bundesliga this season. But for Borussia Dortmund, they are struggling in the German Bundesliga. But for Nuri Sahin, he knows what is at stake because any fault from him, I think the board, they are going to let go of Nuri Sahin, not minding the status in which he holds as a legend of the football club.
And he's doing well in the UEFA Champions League. Why bounce him?
Well, doing well in the UEFA Champions League. It's too early in the UEFA Champions League. If we are doing this, that in the second half of the season in the UEFA Champions League, maybe it might just be a count. Okay, it's a knockout. We play this, we win. We play this, we win.
All right.
But this at this present time, it's a marathon for Borussia Dortmund. And then in England, well, for West Ham at the London Stadium, are facing off against Arsenal Football Club. Well, it's a good thing West Ham got their first victory. Well, maybe not their first victory. That's a comprehensive win on Monday, defeating Newcastle by 2-0. And for Arsenal, they've had 2 straight victories this season and scoring 8 goals. The return of Martin Odegaard. So, Julian Lopetegui, who definitely also is, stay with West Ham, is also not certain. well, I think he would also want to get the maximum results face off against Arsenal, and he would hope that they don't get the same bashing they got last season when Arsenal defeated them by 6-0. So overall, it's going to be an exciting weekend when we talk about the world of sport at large. So we look out for all of these games, and then there is also games that go down tonight where we talk about Brentford face off against
Brighton against Southampton.
Brighton against Southampton, I beg your pardon. And so games are set to go down this weekend. We know 3 months of football action, that's club football without interruption, is going to be a great one.
All right, so when it says 3 months, that means from now to the month of March, you've got nothing disturbing you in terms of international football. You enjoy football, even in the festive period. That's in the month of December, the holiday period. We have to go now. Thank you so much, SAMIES. SAMIES will be here on Saturday afternoon from 3 to 4. All the build-up to the Premier League games will be coming up from 4 to 6. You will be here for that. And, of course, touch on some other leagues as we'll be joining Lee James and Dennis for the rest for that program called The Pitch at the BBC part of the show, that are partners. We'll go down. We'll be back again on Monday morning, 7:45. That will be for Scoreboard in 15. And this edition comes up on Monday by 3:30. That, of course, will be Scoreboard Reloaded. But The Pitch will be here on Saturday from 3 to 6. BBC Koshimagbo. Thank you so much, SAMIES, for your time. I am Peter Omo.